it feels like what I'm trying to convey, but without being super Chippendale sexy.
Right.
I mean, my left leg looks good.
I'm sure.
But that's
dude,
really
yeah.
all the skin you're seeing in this thing.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to My Lawyer Friend. I'm your host, Ann Easton.
And I'm your co-host, Brittany Ledford. We're here to break down legal topics, lifestyle commentary, and speak with our lawyer friend, Ann.
Yep, that's us. Casual, informative, and always real. Now let's get into it. Before we start, the information, opinions, and recommendations presented on My Lawyer Friend podcast are for general informational purposes only and shouldn't be construed as legal advice on any subject matter. You shouldn't act or refrain from acting on the basis of any content included on this podcast without seeking legal or other professional advice. We are simply providing insight into our past professional experiences, and should you need legal advice, you can certainly contact me, or we can connect you with an able-minded attorney.
How are you, Ann? It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's good to see you, though.
I know, it's so good to see you.
Good to be back here.
Good to be back in the United States.
Yeah, and the U.S., I guess, right?
Right, yeah. And the U.S.? Is it different than
You in the
United
U.S.,
States?
yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's been nice to finally be back, and I'm here, with you and our good friend Parker Ainsworth.
Hello.
So glad to have you here, Parker.
Good to be here.
Yes, and
It's exciting.
It is.
As a matter of fact, can I share the story really quick?
Yeah, for sure.
So, Parker, I need to tell you something. I was a little frazzled today. I get frazzled a lot. And I get in the car in my Waymo, and I'm like, talking to myself often, getting my bag in the car, frustrated. And I sit down finally. I'm like, okay, we're going to record. It's going to be good. And I'm like, this music has really got me like in a way right now. And I looked down. I was like, I know that guy. It was you playing through the speakers in my Waymo.
Yeah.
So thought that was pretty cool that you popped on. Yes, you were on my Spotify at some point in time, but that's what they chose to play for me today. So
Glad I could serenade your ride to work.
you serenaded it and you
Right.
calmed me. And I just wish everyone could should listen to your music after this episode. Anyone that hasn't already, because man, it changed my mood like that.
Right? And I even said that's my favorite song of yours. And I listened to it on repeat. I think Spotify told me in 2023 that was like one of my top songs
Well, the name
that I
of the
listened
song.
to that year.
And I
yeah.
told Ann about this before the recording, so she knows what happened. That's why she knows the name of the song. But tell her the name of the song.
The Way That It Was.
The way that it was.
Yeah.
It's in my head, and I can't get it out of my head now.
Yeah. And we're going to have Brittany give a little bio about Parker now.
Yes, well, I'm honored to do so, sir. Singer-songwriter Parker Ainsworth brings the art of storytelling through music from a space that audiences can feel from the first chord. Originally from Austin, Texas, this Southern California resident followed I-10 toward the ocean and a new beginning in 2009. Eventually coming to hang his hat on a sailboat docked at the edge of Los Angeles. He now resides in Joshua Tree, California. Parker wrote and performed the theme song for the film Peanut Butter Falcon called Running for So Long. And now he's currently working on several new projects. I love that, Parker. That just tells me so much about who you are as a person. And I can't wait to get into more about your story. But first, we're going to talk about the legal side of music.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. So let me just say this. Is it true that you are actually the client of Miss Ann Easton, as a matter of fact?
That is correct.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Yes.
It sounded like you were testifying right there, right?
Yeah.
So I say that because I've been hanging out with the circle of you two lately, and hearing some conversations that you two are having just in general, and learning about you and your situation right now. And I'd like to get into just a general question for you, Ann, to start the conversation. And it's generally, what rights do musicians have in their works? It's a copyright, but can it be complicated?
Yes, I think that rights with regard to music can get very complicated, but the overarching rights that musicians have is in the musical work, which is the compilation, which is the sheet music, essentially what they've actually, written for the melody, and then the lyrics. and that's the musical work. And then there's a sound recording of the musical work. So there's a separate license essentially, usually for that as well. But there's usually 3 separate stakeholders within all of those rights as well. And Parker could be a person who gets a couple of them or all of them. But the 3 stakeholders are the writer, the person who's written the lyrics, the performer, the person who sings the song, and the producer, the person who records the music. And we can totally get into how they decide to structure all of that. So usually one party gets most of the money.
And should we guess who that is?
Yeah, go ahead. Who do you
Is
think?
it the producer?
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's the music industry is not shaped for the artist, sadly.
Okay.
I mean, because it became a huge moneymaker, and this is the United States, and we love capitalism, and we like giving money to companies. Yeah.
So, Parker, how do you feel about all of this? What has your experience been like in this realm as a singer?
Living under capitalism or as a
Well,
musician?
let me first say you're a I want to clarify. So you're a singer and a songwriter. So
It's true. So I'm the performer and the writer.
so there are 2 of the 3, and and you're telling me, Anne, that there's still that third person that's still going to benefit more than the person that has 2/3 of the work done.
Because of how
Completed?
they structure a lot of the deals, yes.
So they still will make out better than
yeah.
financially, I should say.
Unless they have really high bargaining power and, you're Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And even if you're Taylor Swift, sometimes
Now,
you don't get all the rights that you should have.
there was an issue with Taylor Swift, some issue where she re-recorded some music. Why was that such a big deal?
Because she didn't own the sound recording of all of her albums, essentially. And she got very upset when her publisher sold those rights in the sound recordings to someone that she didn't want them to sell it to. And I think it was Scooter Braun at that time. And she got upset because she didn't hold those rights. And so she started re-recording all of those albums. And then she called them, in parentheses, Taylor's version, which I thought was awesome. But not everybody's a billionaire, and they don't have the funds in order to do that. And what happened is she did so many of them. I think she re-recorded like 6 albums or something. And eventually the publisher was like, God, we're going to lose all of our money, and everyone's only going to listen to that version. So we will sell you the rights to the sound recording. But she had to purchase the rights to the sound recording.
This sounds like a
the
unique
publisher.
situation, though, where she had the means to do it and she had the following. She has this massive, is it called Swifties? Is
Yeah,
what they're called.
exactly.
These followers that are children to millennials,
Yeah.
to everyone.
Yeah, that are incentivized to purchase the Taylor's version.
Of course, because
Yeah.
they follow her. That was a loyalty thing, I think, more than anything, it sounds like.
Totally, yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because my biggest question for you is, what is a recent issue, if you don't mind bringing it up today for everyone to hear, that you have been discussing with Anne as your attorney? I know there's attorney-client privilege, but here, can we break that a little bit and talk about?
Well, that's up to Parker.
Yes. I say yes.
And
Do
I'll
you-
make sure we don't bring up anything that's confidential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
She'll lawyer up.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
So is there
I'm
any-
your lawyer. I'm going to
lawyering
lawyer up
having
for
her
you.
as my
Yeah,
lawyer.
correct.
That's how it goes. That's the phrase.
Yes, there you go.
So what was a legal issue that you've had with her recently? I know I've heard a little bit about it in our conversations between the 3 of us.
Yeah, the big one that Anne's been helping me out tremendously is that I did a song for a friend's film. It was called The Peanut Butter Falcon. And for like 6 years, I'd been saying, hey, if you need a song for your film, I'm down. Yeah. And then one day they called me and they told me they lost the whole soundtrack. And that was heart-wrenching because they put so much time in. I was like, when do you need me? And they're like, come down right now, like 8 p.m. now. And so I came down there, wrote the song. The next day we tracked it with Butch Walker. And it happened very fast. And then these contracts came up and they were my friends. And I'd heard of work for hire before. And initially I was told that I could even hold on to the song. And then when it was time, because people were like pushing and they were trying to get in a film festival and the production company was cracking the whip, the contracts came quick. I didn't fully understand what was going on. At the time, I thought with the work for hire, I'd still hold on to the writing. Like I'd still own the lyrics to it because I wrote them. And Anne has schooled me so hard in the most gracious way that wasn't the case at all. And I reached out to her. I've been trying to talk to her for a while. And then the real one was that, well, we can go into it further. I'll give the microphone to Ann right now to talk about the difference that I didn't know, what capacities of work for hire can be really not friendly towards an artist if you love the music.
Well, so actually Parker brought this issue up to me years ago. And we were in the desert somewhere and you mentioned it to me and I was like, oh my gosh, I know this song. And you explained the issue to me and I knew right then and there what the issue was and that you didn't own the song. But I didn't want to tell you that in that moment because every time I have not seen any artist own the rights to a song that's on a soundtrack album. Mm-hmm. And it's always a work for hire because if you think about it logically, the studio or the production company then wouldn't own the compilation of songs that are on that album. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't make sense for them to even give you even a portion of ownership. Like if you wanted maybe to have like a songwriter's share in it, they wouldn't even really been incentivized to give you that.
Can we just establish what is work for hire in the context of an actual composer or a songwriter, just for the audience?
So a work for hire is actually similar. I think that we're going to talk about it with another one of our guests very soon, who's a producer in the film industry. And it essentially means that someone is hired, they're paid upfront for the work that they're being hired for. In this case, it was for Parker to write and sing a song. And the owner of that work then becomes the production company that paid for it, essentially. And they're actually the author of the copyright. So Parker isn't the author of this song that he wrote.
Parker wrote the lyrics. He sang, he performed the song, but they pay him, I guess, for the job.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Writing it and performing it. And then once it's created, then them paying him was for his time.
Exactly.
And then they own it. They own that as property.
Correct. And they can do whatever they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to this situation, you're in the desert, you find this out, you want to save him from having a horrible time in the desert.
Yeah. Well,
so
I didn't tell him in that moment.
Tell him right away.
But yeah, so he found, like years later, I saw you probably at some music venue and I said, yeah, send me your stuff. Send me the contract if you can find it. Mm-hmm. And then you waded through your documents and you found it. And interestingly, I got the document and I saw, because lawyers put comments on the sides of documents constantly. I'm sure anyone who's seen a lawyer write up a document. But I saw that the person who had written up and who was commenting on it was my first boss in the industry. And another attorney. So it was actually to our benefit. And I said to Parker in that moment, I'm like, I know this guy. He's very cool. You actually met him the other day.
He's my new best friend.
Yeah. And I thought, I could probably go talk to him and see what we can do and see who owns this and see if there's a way around this so that we could potentially purchase the rights back. Mm-hmm. Because I did have to give you the unfortunate news that you did not own any part of your song. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except for the performance royalties.
And so once I realized that, there was just a series of things that were really frustrating. Like, for whatever reason, they never licensed it for social media. Mm-hmm. So anytime I want to promote a show on Instagram, there's 3 covers of other people doing the song I wrote, and I can't use the song that I wrote.
Your version.
Which is the song most people know me for.
Right.
To promote the show.
Yeah.
Those people paid for a mechanical license in order to do a cover
so someone
of your
paid.
song.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what she told me. That people have been paying to make a mechanical license to put it up so that they can share it on social media.
What is a mechanical license? Sorry.
It's a license to re-record a song that, like,
if you want to cover
a master.
A song.
Yeah, if you want to cover a song. Yeah.
So other people are doing this.
Yeah.
You can't. So you couldn't do.
Well, I could if I want to pay for it. Was that a Harry Fox thing?
Yeah. You would have to pay for a mechanical license of your own song that you've already written and performed to re-perform it. Is this right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unless I put it on YouTube, where I think they have a blanket license.
They
but
do.
I can't.
They do have a blanket license.
Yeah, it's just super frustrating because it's like on Instagram, I'm playing a show. I just want to put the song that most people know of mine up there, and it's never there. And so I reached out to the contact of the person that I dealt with. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, well, we'll work on it. And then like a year or something went by and nothing happened. And then I was increasingly frustrated and I wanted to re-record the song. And then I was talking with Dan about that. And then after we started working together, someone approached me and they told me, "Oh, I love this song you did for this film." I was like, "Oh, the Peanut Butter Falcon." They're like, "No, it's this other film." I was like, "What? I don't think I've done a song for another film."
Yeah.
And they relicensed the song to another film, which I won't name the name of the film, but it's not a good film. And I was like, that bums me out. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
really want to be attached to that. But now I know I had no control over any of it. And it was
Unless you
super
pay for
humbling.
it.
Unless I
This
pay
is
for it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not in this world. This is crazy news for me to hear today.
I know. It's very upsetting in a
Very
lot of ways
upsetting.
for a lot of different artists. And that's why so many artists are now like producing their own music and so that they can basically keep all of the rights to themselves. Unfortunately, it's costly and they don't have the same marketing that all the publishers have. And it's very unequal.
Do you see a world, Parker, where this is kind of, now that we are shifting to where people are like, hey, I'll do it myself, I'll put the resources in, or maybe raise the funds. Do you see a world where maybe more equal rights for artists will begin to be a thing, and they'll start getting, I say rights, meaning not civil rights, but actual rights to
Yeah.
Well, it is civil rights and it's
I mean, they are civil
human
rights.
rights.
They are human rights,
Human
but
rights.
right, meaning rights to their own materials. Do you think that's something that's going to evolve to a place that is it's more common?
I mean, do you want me to give you the romantic, idealistic inner
love
child answer?
Yes.
Yes, always.
So I have a dream that what could happen is if some billionaires finally got tired of just hoarding money just so they can cosplay alpha and want to really do some good, they could purchase the major DSP, one major DSP, and change it into a nonprofit. And in that way offer, because especially with AI, there's a huge amount. The way I actually envision it is if you built it on a blockchain where all of the artists' songs were actually tokens on the blockchain and they were always attached to the data. And so the money would go directly to them through a nonprofit that was dispersing them directly to artists.
Right.
As far as the tech on that side, that's someone else's gig. But the vision I have is, unique tokens associated particularly to artists, managing a space where that, because the thing that it just keeps happening, whether it's in any industry, there's always people that want to come in and take advantage of other people. They don't want to do the work. They want to run into the field and reap all the rewards, take all the fruit.
Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
money
And
to make
l-
money.
yeah.
And they make more money because they had money. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of what's happening with social media, and this is so tangential, but like with all these content creators, these marketing people are coming in, or this, some big brand is coming in and saying, okay, we'll pay you $4,000 for something that we maybe would have paid multiple other people $15,000 to do. So not only is it like, it's lessening the work for other people, but I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of the way that our
I think in society
system
in
is
general,
working.
we're just becoming more collaborative. We're becoming a society where, it's more for the smaller man is happening. We're evolving into that place. And that sounds like, I love this
I hope
idea
so.
that you have.
I think we
Well,
have the technology
we
to
do.
do that.
That's what I was gonna say.
think the people who are still making the choices are making choices solely for their own benefit. And I wish that wasn't the case, but a lot of the people that, and I've met some great successful people, and I don't believe with the adage that like just because you have a lot of money you're a bad person.
Absolutely
I
not.
don't agree with that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I do meet people in particular spaces as an artist where I find myself, I'm like, how the hell am I here? Oh, because they think I'm cool.
Right.
And then when I'm talking with some of these people, I'm just like, wow, you're just like a really insecure man
Yeah.
that is desperately trying to validate your identity with gross amounts of wealth at the expense of everyone beneath you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that to a certain extent, but maybe like just go to therapy or do somatic experiencing or ayahuasca or whatever
gonna
the
get
freak
into
you
some
need
of
to
that
get
stuff,
into. Cause it's like, do the work, bro. Like this isn't the answer.
Right? I totally agree with you. Yeah. And I do agree that some people with lots of money can be very nice too. And
They're-
wonderful,
They're
definitely
positive
out there.
people.
There's
They're
some
out there
wonderful
and they
people.
give give back to society in lots of great ways. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is an interesting story.
And a great, like, you know, weaving that we've made to get here.
Yeah, for sure. My heart goes out to anyone who's putting the work and the time and the effort and all of that into this. And I've heard rumblings here and there. You hear headlines and stories, but I never fully understood that you're doing the work.
Yeah.
Someone else is raking in all the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess today I'm realizing it's happening more and more to all artists. It's not just independent artists.
Right.
Are you considered an independent artist? Are you?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what does that
Definitely
mean?
independent.
I just said that. I don't even know what it means.
I'm not on a label.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not signed with an actual.
And that was part of what we were talking about with this new remix and then his new album, whether or not we wanted to use a publisher because it might allow him to get the rights back to a song that he wants.
Tell me more.
I can't.
Cannot. Got it.
Confidential.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to that. Yeah.
I know.
respect that totally.
Right? The most juicy thing.
Yeah,
I
no.
can't tell you. Yeah.
It's always the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
But I get that it's legal. Is there a moral to the story in that he was rushing to help a friend out and he came in, did the job, didn't look through the contract as thoroughly as maybe he should have, and he could have negotiated better terms for himself had he been more aware of the situation at hand? Or is this a situation where you get what you get?
Unfortunately, in the situation that Parker was in, because it was a soundtrack album, I don't think that you would have had any leverage in order to get any ownership of that song, especially because it was part of a major motion picture. But depending on your leverage in the future, you probably can negotiate for your share into the musical composition, which would be the lyrics and what you actually wrote, which is the sheet music.
Yeah.
And you can definitely negotiate for that. Sometimes you can get like 50%.
And how would that look? What would change in the future that would allow him to be able to do that?
Having an attorney.
Having Anne.
Yeah.
This Anne
Having Anne.
Blake Borlaug.
Right?
Maybe it makes you feel a little better knowing that it's not like you made a mistake here. It just is what it is.
And it happens to everybody.
It happens to
all
everyone.
the time. And like, I think maybe it would have saved you some heartbreak had you known it then,
Absolutely.
right? Because you didn't know what the situation was for 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's frustrating.
Yeah, readjusting my expectations with the reality from the onset
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
have made it way less stressful.
Exactly. Yes.
But that still wouldn't even change, them not distributing it to socials.
Right. Which we're still
It
working
wouldn't.
on right
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It is a great film.
It's a great film.
I love that
Yeah.
you're attached to it.
I am
know,
too.
yeah.
And people have really reached out and it's touched a lot of people's hearts. There was a woman whose husband was, what's the word? Deployed in the Middle East. And she said the song was really powerful for them. And she asked if I could handwrite the lyrics and send it to them. She wanted to send to him. And
Wow. And you did that, didn't you?
yeah, I did it.
Of
And she
course
was
you
like,
did.
she was
Of
like,
course
she was
you
like, what are you? And I was like, just give me $100 and we're good. And it was just, there's been a couple stories like that of people reaching out where that song really connected with them,
Yeah.
And so that's a tremendous honor as an artist whenever you can connect with someone's heart in a way that's beyond, time and physicality. That's
Right, for
really
sure.
powerful. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to connect with people in that way. That's still
Parker, I can
for
tell
sure.
just from my interactions with you, you just have such a nurturing spirit, and it means it makes so much sense that you've been connected with a project like this. And I don't think it's that all is lost. I think it's a beautiful project. I think it's a beautiful melding of artistry and soul and all the things that come in to make this whole project what it is. So hopefully you can see it in that way. I'm honored to have you on today, and I can't wait to get to the next segment to talk more about the good stuff coming with you. So
Yeah, likewise.
after
Me
this
too.
break, let's get into some fun stuff about what you have going on.
let's do it.
Welcome back, friends. We are back to My Lawyer Friend with your host, Ann Easton.
And your co-host, Brittany Ledford. And today we have Parker Ainsworth here. And Parker, I'm excited to talk about your new album.
Me too.
Well, let's get going. Don't
Yeah.
hold back.
I won't. So yeah, this is a new record. After it was really informed by a couple things. One of them was the song that's made the most headway is the song from the film "Running for So Long" is the name of that tune, and it's really stripped down. And it kind of showed me that a lot of the times it's like you dress things up, but and especially now where people are craving vulnerability and connection, sometimes less is more.
Yes.
And so that was something that was brewing in my mind for a while. And then with this huge emergence of AI music, which is a topic we could get into if we want,
Sure.
I wanted to do something that was the opposite of AI. I wanted to do something that felt like really human.
Right.
And so we set out, me and Rob, my engineer, who's working for me as a work for hire. So I am now the
Good.
producer, the performer, and the writer of everything on this record.
Fantastic.
We set out to do something, and initially I was like, I want to make something that sounds as good as like iPhone voice memos, because I use my iPhone to write a lot on, and there's something about the compression and just the way it sounds. It's really immediate.
Right. Yeah.
And so we dressed it up with some older microphones, and we did it all live. So there's no click track, there's no cuts, there's no comps. It's just me. We actually had my friend Barry shoot it, and that's what it's going to be. It's called "Wearing No Clothes." That's the title track. And the idea is it's super dressed down. It's just me with a guitar in a room. I had a couple friends. My girlfriend was one of them watching, so I felt like I was performing a little bit more.
Cute.
Oh, cool.
The only critique I would make is in the videos, I was closing my eyes a lot just to like feel it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, you got to look at the camera, buddy. But
Yeah.
it came out really great on the audio side. I feel like we got some
nice.
really good takes. I sat on it for a while because in the age of, faux perfection,
Yeah.
Right.
it was hard to hear me make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get in there because we have the technology to get in
Yeah.
there and cut it and make it
Cut it.
perfect. No, just little nip and tuck. And then Rob actually, and my girlfriend, a couple of the people I played it for, they're like, it's beautiful. I mean, it's really you. It sounds like seeing you live, except it's caught with like these microphones are like ribbon mics from the 40s and going through some really cool old hardware. So it has a vibe.
Yeah.
And
I'm
this is
feeling
it.
the
It's-
vibe
it's
already.
wearing
And
no
I haven't seen
clothes.
it.
And don't you I feel like in the album cover you have like no shirt on and just overalls, right?
Yeah, so my friend Jill,
Yeah.
we did a whole photo shoot and played with the idea a lot. The one that's the actual album cover is her shooting me from above, and I'm naked in a pile of clothes, but you don't see anything except for my hat and I think my left leg like jutting out, and everything else is
So
covered in
seductive.
clothes. It was funny because we were messing with it, and a lot of them started looking too Chip and Dale, and then we had this one idea, and I like it because it feels like what I'm trying to convey, but without being super Chip and Dale sexy.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
my left leg looks good.
I'm sure.
But that's
dude,
really
yeah.
all the skin you're seeing in this thing. I think there's like the tip of my nose like peeking out from underneath my hat, but you don't really see you don't see that much skin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Okay.
that's the album cover.
That's good.
I love that. And
I
I want
love
to say, I
that.
think that you're in a time right now, you did make the point that everything is super perfectionist, I guess, quality. And what has come out of that is that people are craving authenticity. They're craving the raw footage. I have to say, I am a TikTok addict. Hello, my name is Brittany. And I have seen the video. I've really been studying this stuff and seeing that the videos that are coming to light more and more going viral or being more popular are the ones that are raw. And I think this is timely what you're doing. It's definitely timely because everything's perfect. People don't want that anymore. They see through it. I'm excited about this project. I can't wait to see more.
Me too.
And did you release kind of like a snippet of it online?
So one of the things I'm really excited about for the new record, "Wearing No Clothes," is I have a cover that I'm hoping to release on there. I teased a little bit of it on Instagram. I got to get a license through Harry Fox before I can put it out to the rest of the world. And it's a cover of "Wrecking Ball" by Miley Cyrus.
Okay.
And it's cool because I really like taking songs that are more upbeat and slowing them down into something that feels more intimate and immediate. And it works really well for the format of this whole record. So
That's
Amazing.
exciting.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I actually found it kind of interesting that you used Miley Cyrus and "Wrecking Ball," but it is a great song, and the concept of that song, I think, does make sense for what you're trying to portray in your album, which is what you just said. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. I just like, I found it really interesting, learning about you in general, though, when we started working together, is that you told me, like, because you're such this bluegrassy, folky guy, and that you really like electronic music.
I love electronic music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I found really interesting. And then the fact that now you just did a cover of a Miley Cyrus song, but you can see the artistry in the music and what the lyrics say.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's just very surprising sometimes, and I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
He has layers.
Many
I
layers.
need
Yes.
I need an onion.
Yeah. Exactly.
We just met a
yes.
few days ago, and I'm already peeling back the layers.
I know, right? Well, I mean, so there's a bunch of other stuff that you're working on, as one does. And one of those other things that I think that we have been talking about, and we even mentioned in our previous segment, was that you may want to remix Running for So Long. And I've been talking to the publishers about how we can maybe do that. But I want to know what you intend to do for that remix. Like, do you want to kind of make it your own, change the lyrics, really change the melody? Will it be electronic? Will it like...
I mean, I'm pretty basic. I'm an old school house head. Like I said, I was raving.
Yeah.
This will give up my age, but I was raving a lot in the late 90s. And I still love dance
right.
music.
Yeah.
And I dabble in dance music and have some side projects that are more electronic ambient and some more geared towards the dance floor that I have yet to release. There's a friend of mine that had the idea and I really liked it. Basically, it would be a classic remix. We're taking the stems of the vocal and the guitar, locking them to a grid, throwing it on a four to the floor house beat. It would probably land more like a pretty upbeat but deep house kind of feel with like super subby bass, nothing too busy. Let the lyric carry it. Got a big lift hallelujah moment for the hook.
Right.
Nice. That's kind of the vibe.
Yeah. Amazing. Awesome.
I love this description. It's totally not my world, but
I know.
I'm kind of getting what he's saying.
The hallelujah music. Oh my God.
The lift.
Hallelujah
The
moment.
hallelujah moment.
You know the
So
one
this is-
where you turn to your friends and everyone's in love and they just
Yes.
throw their hands up. That's it.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
I love that.
Is it true that you're a jack of all trades? Actually, I know you're a jack of all trades. You have a side gig these days.
I mean, I have a couple side gigs to be honest.
You know what I'm talking
but
about.
yeah, I do. One of them is, it's a path that really laid itself out to me after a lot of life changes over the pandemic and the years since, relationally, vocationally. And so something that really showed up for me out of a really dark period was wanting to help facilitate healing, for lack of a better term, awareness. And so somatic modalities really showed up for me in that way. I used to teach yoga. I still teach breath work. And I just kept hearing somatic therapy as something that came in. And then I discovered Peter Levine's work, who does somatic experiencing.
So, Parker, could you actually break down for us what somatic experiencing is, actually?
I can do my best. I'm
Okay.
just in starting my second year. It's a 3-year program. So I just finished the beginning year. It's a whole program of somatic therapy created by Dr. Peter Levine. He's brilliant. He has a PhD in psychology, but also one, I think, in biophysics. And essentially what he did is he saw in nature how animals don't get PTSD. Like a gazelle can have its brother, sister, anyone mauled to death in front of it and run away, and then is immediately eating dinner and sleeping well, and humans don't do that.
Right.
And then when he started looking into this more, he has this whole system where he notices how the animals in nature will reorient, and they have this discharge cycle that humans don't do. Like you'll even see if you pet a cat or a dog, when it walks away, it'll kind of like shake everything out. And
Yeah.
his hypothesis is that when animals take on a bunch of energy, we have a natural cycle of moving through that somatically that's interrupted by, that's the whole other question, which we could ask, is it interrupted by some construct of what's normal and okay in society? Is it like language in our mind is kind of bifurcating our beingness so that there's like a mind and a body? Like Don't know. That's more questions. And like I said, I'm on the ground floor. But somatic experiencing is his whole system of therapy to help us reorient, acknowledge, and ultimately release, move past, and discharge whatever things are stored inside
us.
of our bodies.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. So, I mean, it would maybe help with people with anxiety or
Trauma, anxiety,
yeah.
depression.
Wow.
There's some really, if anyone's interested, you can go online and there's some sessions he's done. One that we saw in our class was him working with a vet that had really bad PTSD, really bad, and was diagnosed as having Tourette's and a whole litany of different problems after he suffered a major problem. And
wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Amazing.
And so I'm in year 2 of the Somatic Experiencing program and finishing up an undergrad so that I can just get licensed, get my MFT to practice as a therapist as well. Ultimately, because Johns Hopkins is doing a bunch of really cool studies about how music in psychedelic spaces functions as another substance. I mean, it's essentially it's something exogenous that's really influencing and informing the experience. So ultimately, what I want to do is get to a space where I can facilitate psychedelic integrative work with some more conventional therapeutic modalities, but a very somatic lens on what that work looks like, onboarding, offboarding, and then facilitating sessions with bespoke music that's created for these experiences to really get underneath what words sometimes just don't. Words aren't sufficient to convey, things come up that are pre-verbal or outside of the confines
Sensory.
of language.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's the work that's really compelling me right now.
and it fits so well. I mean, not only the fact that you're an artist, I feel like lends so well to what you're doing. Who would have thought it? It really makes sense. But I keep saying your nature is very nurturing, and just being in your presence, I feel that. And
it's like very calming.
It's very calming. Your music is calming. I told you today, it pulled me off that ledge. And I'm always on that ledge. I'm just wound tight.
Right? Yeah. I know, yeah.
So I think that's like such it feels like it's probably a calling that has been speaking to you for a while, but it feels like it fits you.
Fits well, yeah.
Yeah.
When I'll share this one little story why I started playing music. So reveal, I'm comfortable saying this. When I was a kid, me and my mom were super tight.
Okay.
And my father caught a case. He was trafficking marijuana. And it was a big case. Like it was a federal case. And my mom, as any woman, like a mother of 2, she's a legend. She stepped up to the plate. Not any woman. She's my mom.
Yeah.
And she did step up to the plate and manage to provide for us and get us to all the places that a mom needs to do. But there was definitely a lot of times where I could feel she was disassociating. And I didn't know what that word meant at that time. But when you're really close and trained with someone emotionally, you can feel when they're not there, but they are. And I have so many memories of us driving in the car and she'd be somewhere else or she'd be crying and some song would come on and she would come back and smile at me. And that was so formative.
You made that connection.
And that was really, I didn't realize it until years later. Oh, yeah. But I mean, I started, but then it was like years of my own journey through what that meant.
Wow.
And then when I found that was like about 10 years ago. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a different relationship that I have to what sound and music means as far as connecting with people. But then when I went through my own super dark period around the pandemic and was quite frankly really considering some poor choices with very long-term repercussions. What helped me was a psychedelic therapy session with music and seeing how that all connected. It felt like, oh, this is actually an extension of what I wanted to do with music that seems more available. And there's something profound in there that I'm still learning what it even is. There's a synthesis of all these different aspects of my life and what facilitation work means outside of like an identity or like someone trying to get somewhere or get something. And it's super humbling.
Yeah,
I'm
it certainly is.
I'm speechless, and I think it's beautiful when someone experiences something so deeply they want to share it with others, and I think that's what you are. You've reached that point where you've experienced so much, but you've brought it all to the surface of what does it mean? What does it look like?
Right.
What is it to me? And now it sounds like you want to share that with others, and what a gift. And you know what this is to me? It sounds like this is your purpose.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You are a singer-songwriter. You're
Yeah.
already an established person. You've already, done the things, as I say all the time. But now you're reaching your ultimate purpose.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is something that's worked for you, and hopefully it will work for other people.
That's the hope. I
Right,
just want to
yeah.
be a solution in a system that seems to have a lot of problems.
Right.
Yeah.
More and more, especially with artists and musicians, like looking
Yeah.
at the rise of AI, because without purpose, it's so hard to get out of bed in the morning.
I
And,
know,
like,
Yeah.
when
yeah.
the identity, like my
Yeah.
identity as a musician, like when it's been threatened in the past, and I was like, but what am I if I'm not a musician? And
Yeah.
it sounds funny, but when you actually face
No,
it and
it's
your
true.
whole life is based around this idea,
Right.
and certain things like psychedelic therapy, I think, can be profound in showing how even that is just another jacket. Like there's a capacity of value and worth that's way past anything I'm ever going to do or perform or complete or obtain.
Right.
And there's something really distinctively feels missing from capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
Absolutely.
so that's also what really appeals to me in that is very subversively redefining value with people in person and
Yeah.
connecting.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah. This story is, I'd never heard this, and I think this is just something, it's a very special story. I'm glad you felt comfortable sharing it with us today, and shows me who you are. And, usually first of all, I want to say thank you for being so vulnerable and so raw with us today. It truly touched me, and
Yeah, me too.
you made my day.
Yeah.
Um,
And I learned more new things about you. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
so
Pretty open book.
you had a great story about your childhood, and when we close out each episode here at My Lawyer Friend, we have this fun tradition where we have a question that we like for the three of us to answer, to get to know your friend a little bit more each time. And so it really goes hand in hand today. The question that I chose for you with your story, it makes a lot of sense to ask. So I'm going to start with him today, and then Anne, you're next.
Yeah, go for
But my question for you today is, what is a smell that reminds you of childhood?
It's kind of a tie.
Okay. Do both.
And I think it's from both my mother and my father.
Okay.
So with my mother, it's like that smell of stables. It's kind of a mixture of like horse manure and straw and wood shavings. My mom used to ride the cutting horse event and rodeos.
Wow.
And she had a horse, Tari Sugar, and just that smell. Like when I was a kid, I'd go with my mom to the stable bunch. And then the other smell is pot, because my dad was just smoking pot around me. I remember the first time I went to a concert, it was Guns N' Roses, and I was there and I smelled, I was like, wait, I know this smell.
Oh, my God.
And it was like such a part of my childhood.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
I smelled marijuana and
And it
I
was
think I'm like-
comforting, maybe.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It was like, oh, this is a safe
It
place.
takes you back.
Yeah.
It takes you
Right.
somewhere, right? It gives you that nostalgic feeling. That
For
is
sure.
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
What about you, Anne? What is a smell that reminds you of childhood?
Well, I also feel like I have two.
Okay.
One of them is my grandmother's perfume that I would smell every time we would go visit them in Oregon. They had this beautiful farm near the ocean on the Oregon coast. And that reminds me of those summers that we would spend there. And her perfume was lovely. It's actually really funny. I'll smell it on other women who are young, and I'll say, oh, you smell like my grandma. Which is not like great to say to a young woman, but I'm like, she smelled beautiful,
You have to,
like, let me just
course.
say, yeah. But so that one, and then this sunscreen that we would wear when I was young, when I would go to Hawaii with my family. I'm going to cry with all my brothers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was this sunscreen that I smelled when I was in Hawaii with my family on vacations, and it was a really beautiful memory. And I think I'm allergic to that sunscreen now. But yeah. And how about you, Britt? What is a smell that reminds you of your childhood?
Gasoline.
Yes.
So
Amazing.
back in the day, do you guys remember? I don't know about out here, but used to be self-serve or full service at a gas station. And there was this one gas station down the street from my house, and my mom at one point drove a station wagon. And she had 3 kids, and we would all pile in the station wagon and go to town. It wasn't really to town, but come into, where the shops and things were, and we'd have to go get gas. And so you pull up, and the attendant, you run over this like little like wire line thing, and it dings a bell, and it tells the guy the attendant to come out. And I can hear that ringing in my ear. And you run over the thing, and it dings the bell, and then the guy comes out, and he will ask you which type of gas you'd like, and he pumps your gas for you, which we don't do that anymore. And it was just so fun for me to sit and watch, because then he would come around and he would wash the windows while he's pumping the gas. And I don't know why, but I don't smell that smell. And I think it's probably the ingenuity of cars now. They're, more, everything's more safe and secure and all the things. But I guess when you stick the nozzle in, it's more secure of a fit. So
I don't know about you. I still smell gasoline.
I
when
do a little bit,
take it out.
but
It smells
not
so good.
right.
Oh my God.
But not like I used to, where I'd sit there and I would just sit in the car and smell the fumes that were so not healthy.
No.
And I was usually sitting in the front seat, so I can remember chewing watermelon flavored bubble gum, the Hubba Bubba bubble gum, and smelling the gasoline. And it just reminds me of a time when life was easy, and I didn't have the responsibilities of adulting, like taxes and bills. And
I know.
everyone's-
Adulting is hard. I think I don't want the part anymore.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm giving up the part. Right.
with all of that said,
just
this has been such a beautiful episode, and I'm honored to now call you a friend, and honored that you would come spend your time with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you all for having me.
Of course.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
It was so
great.
lovely having you.
Thank you, Parker.
As always. Yeah. Thank you. And that's all.
For
Oh my God, why did I just sound like Daffy Duck? And that's all, folks.